Alright guys, I am doing this video to kick off my sustainable travel series. I have been meaning to do this for a long time now, but you know how things go. You plan something or you plan to do something, or having an idea is not the same as executing. This is really something that I wanted to talk about because it's a topic that grown very fond of over the past few years. And this is what I chose to pivot in when it comes to being a travel content creator, travel influencer, and being in the travel field. So a lot of times people hear about sustainable travel, and I think over the past maybe 2 or 3 years actually it has become a trend. But with this series I actually want to break down what exactly it means, how you as a person who travels, whether you are a full-time traveler, you can travel more sustainably. If you are someone who just travels for vacation or travels for work, how you can travel sustainably, but also to provide resources to destinations, tourism boards, DMOs, which are destination management organizations, to figure out how to be more sustainable, or how to develop more sustainable travel itineraries, and really weave that in their current offering, thereby improving what they have to offer. Now, when you hear the word sustainable travel, I remember the time I first spoke to somebody about it, and they were like, "What exactly it is this?" But and it's a real question, because a lot of times when people hear about sustainable travel, they only think that it means green everything, right? And I'm actually curious to know if, as you're watching this video right now, when you hear sustainable travel, you can actually pause and let me know in the comments below, what do you think? What words are coming to your mind? I know for a lot of people that I have polled, it means greens, it means conservation, it means like it, or the words that come to their minds are things like expensive, things like luxury, and so forth. But in reality, when we think about sustainable travel is actually a way of traveling, or traveling concept that encourages people who travel to do it in a more responsible way, by minimizing the negative effects on the environment and leaving the places better than how they found them. And so there are different pillars of sustainable travel, which include economic empowerment. It includes nature preservation and conservation, and it includes mindfulness and consciousness. So essentially, the goal of sustainable travel is to ensure that wherever you go, you leave the place better than how you left it, or if anything at all, like don't leave it worse, right? And sustainable travel focuses a lot on pouring back within the communities. It focuses a lot on preserving the environment. It focuses a lot on reducing your carbon footprint. So as we go through this series, I will share with you the different pillars of sustainable travel, because a lot of times when we think about, you know what, I want to be a better traveler. And by the way, when we talk about sustainable travel is also called responsible travel or eco-friendly travel. So if you go online, you will see terms like responsible travel, you will see mindful travel, you will see eco-friendly travel. These are all synonyms of sustainable travel. And so a lot of times when people think about sustainable travel, they're thinking about, okay, I need to do like all these things all at once. No, the point of this series is to show you that regardless of the type of traveler you are, whether you like adventure, you like luxury, you like to have a soft life, you like adventure but not too much, you like to only travel to eat, or you just want to travel to rest, regardless of the type of traveler that you are, you can travel sustainably depending on, or based on the pillar of sustainable travel that you pick, right? So when it comes to sustainable travel, there are different pillars, and I'm going to talk about it in a separate video. But from the top of my head, I can already tell you, we have the community, pouring back within the community. So we have community tourism, right? We have ecotourism, which has more to do with the environment preservation. So that will include things like going to natural reserves, biospheres, national parks, a lot of like outdoors adventures, some like patronizing like these green experiences wherever you go. So you have the community, you have the adventure pillar, or the adventure or nature pillar, that kind of like encompass work together. And then you have the community pillar, where you will be patronizing local businesses, be involved in community activities, eating at local restaurants, and so forth. You also have the cultural pillar of sustainable travel, or cultural tourism, which involves really taking part in cultural activities. That's where you will be doing going to festivals, going to countries or to islands, to destinations when they have like cultural events, like major celebrations. Like for example, you're traveling to an island where when they have like a music festival, or when they have a food festival, or if during their independence season there are a lot of cultural activities that are happening, then you're traveling during that period. then you by taking part into those cultural activities, then you are embracing the cultural pillar of sustainable travel, right? And then you also have the culinary tourism. Culinary tourism is another aspect of sustainable travel, especially when you're focusing on restaurants or having culinary experiences that promote farm to table living, right? Some people call it also sea to table, or if it's like, you know, seafood and so forth, but you get the idea. So you have that, and also the culinary pillar also involves that farm to table dining, restaurant experiences. It involves eating at local restaurants or locally owned restaurants. It also involves eating at high-end restaurants. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that when you do sustainable, you cannot do luxury. There are local luxury restaurants. You can also eat at like higher-end restaurants, provided that they follow specific guidelines or they have specific things put in place to make sure that they still follow the sustainable culinary tourism pillars, right? And so there are different ways to be involved in sustainable travel, whether you are traveling as like somebody who just goes places seasonally, whether you're a full-time traveler, whether you only travel when you go on business conferences, whether you only travel when you go on work trips. There are just different ways in which you can actually include sustainability in what you do, and this is what I want to bring to your attention when it comes to this series. When I started traveling initially, so for as a background, I've actually been to I think 29 countries. I need to count, and I'm hoping to really increase this number in 2025. I'm not hoping. I know I'm gonna increase this number in 2025. I think in 2025 I'm probably gonna visit like 5 more countries. I can already see it. I can already foresee it. So I'm really excited. But when I started to travel, one of the main reasons why I wanted to start to travel was because I wanted to discover more of what life was in different countries, right? It was never to me about like the landscape, and even before like I got latched into like the whole Instagram and the whole vlogging and stuff, it was never really about that. It was mostly about like just seeing what life is like in other places. What do they eat? What do they do? And stuff like that. And it's not to say that if your reason to travel was more to see beautiful places, it's not to say that essentially everybody has their reason to travel, right? But this is how I started. And so as I was going to more places, I realized that, you know, different places have different landscapes. Beauty looks different based on where you are. Even the biggest not the biggest, one of the biggest aha moments I had was realizing that nature even looks different based on where you are. You know, growing up in Cameroon, West Africa, we have everything. We are called mini Africa. In French, we say le continent, like we are like the continent of Africa because we have everything that you can find in Africa, right? So growing up in Cameroon, I was like, you know what? I want for nothing because we have everything. Then I went to the Caribbean, specifically Dominica, and Dominica is like the greenest island I have ever seen, right? I don't know if I can say the greenest Caribbean island, but I would say like the greenest island I have ever seen. And I discovered nature in a whole different way. But then I came here to Canada, and I was like, you know, like a lot of people don't have Canada on their bucket list. I'm telling you, if you follow my adventures, you're gonna fall in love with Canada. Shameless plug, I am doing a cross Canada tour. I started it this year, and we're gonna continue it into the next year, where I'm showing you the beauty of Canada, and I'm doing it solo as a Black female solo traveler. So you want to make sure that you are subscribed and you follow my you turn on your notifications so that you are notified when I start to roll out the long form content from next year. But to go back to what I was saying, I came to Canada, and I visited Banff, which is in the province of Alberta, for the first time, and I was like, wow, this nature looks nothing like what I saw in Dominica. And when I was in Dominica, I was like, this is like the best nature ever, right? But no, in Alberta, nature looks different. And so having been able to explore different countries, different regions of the world, or even different regions of a specific country, I got to appreciate the landscapes better, but I also got to appreciate the unicity of every destination, and realize that, you know, really at the end of the day, you will make a destination will be memorable to you, not just because of what it has to offer, but also what you see, what you see, what you take, and what you give. So and having seen like this beauty around the world, I mean, I haven't traveled to everywhere else yet, but it's on my list. Having seen this beauty around the world, I just felt more motivated to share with people ways in which you can travel better, right? Because you might not know this, but every time you travel, you're increasing your carbon footprint, which means that there is a little bit more damage to the environment because you travel to the place. And so the goal is really to see, how can I reduce this damage? How can I travel to better support the places where I'm going, and leave those places better than how I found them, or if at all not worse. So this is going to be the goal of this sustainable travel series. If you have any questions, let me know. I would love to know what your questions are and answer them as we go along. I don't want these videos to be super edited because right now I'm doing a travel vlogmas for 31 days. In December, we are on day 11 and I'm taking a lot of time to edit the travel videos. But these ones, I want to just be able to speak more from my heart, more in front of the camera, and also because I want to be, it helps to better manage my time. But if you have any questions, let me know definitely in the comments. We're going to continue talking about sustainable travel, and I'd love to hear what your feedback is. Thank you and see you in the next video.